Welcome back to Murray Max. We have another video. This one is from the PBD podcast brought to you by Valuetainment. They are killing it. If you look at even Charlie Kirk subscribers, even Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Valuetainment is creeping up on 7 million subscribers on just YouTube alone. But anyways, as usual, we're going to review this video, go over it, and we have Sam Seder on here, and he's going to be doing what he does, and the whole panel is on here, and the context of this one is him explaining why he voted for Kamala, so this should be good. I'm sure it's going to be filled with a lot of super true and non-hyperbolic statements. That's sarcasm. But anyways, let me know in the comments what you think as you're watching it, and if you like the channel, feel free to support it. It's a new channel. I'd love to have you, so go ahead and subscribe. I read all the critiques on here. I read all the good and the bad. So if there's something you wish I was doing differently about this, some people say I talk too much. Some people say they love when I talk. Some people say stop talking on the video at all. Some people say you had me laughing. I almost spit out my drink. So anyways, here we go.
What did you? I want to hold on. You voted. This is what drives me crazy about your side. You guys voted
for the lesser of two evils.
That is what policy were you going for? What do you think that she was going to do different? What can you possibly? I would rather have you sit that one out, Sam. Go ahead.
I'll tell you.
Go ahead.
She was not going to cut Social Security functioning. She's not going to cut the USDA. She's not going to cut the FDA. She's not going to lose us $500 billion worth of return on investment with the IRS. She's not going to cut the Bureau of Labor Statistics. She's not going to cut 300
investment
return on investment. Every dollar that you give to the IRS, we get 6 or 7 back. She's not going to cut the museum and library. Did you just say that? Google it. Every dollar spent at the IRS gets 6 back in returns.
Goodness.
They're anticipating the cuts from DODGES. The cuts from DODGES.
Yeah, every dollar that the IRS spends, they take more and more and more. It's almost like taxes never go down. They only go up, and they only find new things to tax. Crazy. What a thing to support and get behind. Remember when the economy wasn't doing very well and we had all these problems at the border and everything, and the Biden administration was like, you know what we need? I got it. 85,000 new IRS agents. That'll really help the country.
Are going to cost our government $500 billion.
According to who?
Studies suggest.
All right, I undersold it a little bit.
According to who?
Okay, you can spend time attacking the people who do these calculations. Do you need me to tell you more about why?
What I'm just curious. Yeah, I'm just curious to
just
what
rando tariffs applied in a willy-nilly fashion that crash the economy.
So you don't think the tariffs that Trump is, and I get it. That's the tariffs are exactly what America needs right now. Because let's just go to the border. What he did with the border with Mexico, with the tariffs, what happened to fentanyl? What happened to all the deaths? What happened to all those illegals that are coming? What do you mean? He threatened them, and they went for war.
Fentanyl comes across the border at ports of entry. Fentanyl comes across the border, not in illegals crossing the desert. It comes in.
Oh, really? Coyotes really?
It comes in. Yep. Yeah. It comes in at ports of entry. Google that.
Sam, I don't need to Google when it's like
yes, you do.
You said you voted for someone. You're coming up with these policies. The worst pick ever, the biggest loss ever. She lost everything because your side. You're talking about
I don't even
people.
Know what
wait, guys, let me ask you a question. You're acting like your whole side was surprised that Biden wasn't there. Everybody knew, including you, he wasn't there at all. But you guys are like, he's just not Trump. The worst president in the history of the world in this country 4 years because you guys were pretending that he was all there and we knew it. And who was making all the decisions? Who was making all the decisions? Who was signing all the shit? Who was signing off? How many times did you have to see Biden sitting there and they'd ask him a question and he'd go, oh, I can't because they told me I couldn't. He was.
Yeah, honestly, just real quick, that was the weirdest thing that kept happening. You're the highest position around, and you're constantly talking about, well, anyway, I better stop because they don't want me to keep talking. It's like, who are you referring to? Who's the one? And that's the difference. People see, images do matter. And if you said, Trump, we don't want you to talk anymore, he would say, excuse me, I'm not finished. That's what a powerful leader does. And Trump has flaws. I don't agree with everything Trump does, but it's like We certainly don't need a weak representation of our country in the office who can't find his way off stage, who can't complete a sentence. So to just make it sound like it was the lesser of two evils because the Biden administration had all these great things going for it, we don't even know who was deciding anything. But we sure know that there was a lot of things being done without the president even realizing it was happening. That's for sure.
Charge.
They who?
Yeah, who was they? Come on, Sam. It's like the most devastating loss. The world, the country is over it. You guys aren't pivoting, okay? And if you think the future is Gavin Newsom, AOC, Bernie Sanders, and Jasmine Crockett, you guys are doomed. Nothing is going to change. And Elon Musk, you think Elon Musk is a net positive or a net negative for society, for what he's doing? And pointing out what the hell, these people have been screwing us for all these years, and he's pointing out. You guys are mad at the person pointing out who robbed from you than the actual robber. That's the truth, bro. Yeah, he's a billionaire. You think he's doing it because he needs the money?
What fraud has he found?
What do you mean? How much fraud has he found?
Yeah, where's the person who is going to be indicted for fraud?
Well, what about the waste?
What waste?
Because it's not. Stop it, Sam.
What waste? They just cut the
Sam,
what's our current?
This is what is just the absolute absurdity of all of these breakdowns and analysis and stuff like that, to act like they haven't found any government waste. The government is riddled with waste. All of their even their budgeting plans are these silly things for some funding. Like if you don't use all of your budget this year, then you don't get your budget renewed for the full amount next year. So they just spend it on things just to make sure they don't lose a single dollar of their budget. For Sam Seder to sit here and act like, what waste? What are you talking about? Even if Elon was wrong about 99 out of 100 things they claim to find, they're still right about at least 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 things here and there that save tens of millions, if not ultimately over time, billions and billions of dollars. Government writes a check and just sends money everywhere. And when you hear about these silly programs, where's the waste? Okay, why are we paying for Sesame Street TV shows in other countries? Why are we paying for, quote, social cohesion in other countries, whatever the hell that means?
That provides $295 million to museums and libraries. You appreciate libraries, don't you? I know how much reading is important to you.
Sam, you're pinpointing the one good thing that they probably did.
Wait,
what about the waste of countries all around the world for LGBTQ agendas in Rwanda or something?
The money you're talking about,
do you want money going to
a fraction of a percentage? And if we wanted to get rid of that money, there is a way of doing it, and that is to have Congress vote and reverse what they
what a great idea. Have the people who are bought and paid for, that have all of the big money in their pockets, the ones who benefit from the massive waste, have them vote on it. Yeah. Have the same people who have better stock market trading results than Warren Buffett because they're so straight-laced and not corrupt. Have them vote on it. What could go wrong? The left loves big government unless it's Trump's government. If it's going to oppose Trump's government, they love it. If the proposal is to oppose anything that Trump is doing, they're all for it. Otherwise, they hate powerful people. They hate billionaires. They hate people with money. You know who has money? Congress people, senators. Some of them, when they entered office, they were worth $700,000. And now, after 10 plus years, they're somehow worth $40 million or even more. Have them vote on it. What could go wrong?
Authorized in the first place.
Sam.
But to have a billionaire come in and decide based upon what his personal preferences are that he's going to cut government in this way, I'm sorry, that's not democracy. It's not even remotely close to it.
He doesn't have the power to do anything. He makes a suggestion.
Why do you think
and
Americans
the administration will do it?
Why do you think Americans voted for
I don't think
policies?
Americans heard the word Doge outside of it being some type of
cryptocurrency
before.
Why do you think Americans voted for Trump?
Well, I think because they want change.
In what?
What were they not happy with?
I think inflation was a big part of it for them.
What else you think?
I think for a 90% of his voters voted for Mitt Romney. I think there is the Republican Party wants to have tax cuts.
How do we get inflation? How does inflation
Can we
happen?
stay in 2024? You said inflation. What
Tom,
else?
give me 1 second. How does inflation happen?
Inflation can happen in a couple of different ways. Inflation can happen because you have too much monetary supply.
Yeah.
Inflation can happen in terms of both from a monetary supply level or a fiscal stimulus.
Right.
And inflation can also happen if you have a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic that completely screws up all of your logistics. And so you've got, shipping containers that usually cost $4,000 to ship, but now they cost $22,000 to get because they're in far-flung places because the pandemic.
That was in 2021. That was in 2021.
Well, it reverberates through the thing. We saw inflation dropping through 2024.
This is such a tactic of the left. Whenever you talk about an economy that's not doing great under a president that's got a blue or a D, same thing, they sit there and they say, well, the effects of this and, because we inherited that. But then if Trump's in office or if any Republican's in office and things aren't great, they go, look what you did. But they can be 3.5 years into a 4-year term and they go, well, yeah, of course it's not great because of what we inherited. We're still trying to fix the damage that was done. And then Trump's been president for 8 minutes and they're going, what's the price of eggs? Look at the eggs. Why aren't the eggs going down? Like, give me a break.
Sure.
We saw rate cuts on the table because we saw inflation dropping.
Do you think any of it was with, again, so those are the main two issues. You don't think anything else. So you mainly think it was inflation, and your second point was?
Well, I think in large part, we have structural problems in this country. And that's why we keep getting change elections where we keep going back and forth. What would say those structural problems range from, I think a lot of them have to do with wealth inequality.
Okay. So you think Democrats are better at helping wealth inequality or Republicans?
I think Democrats are marginally better.
Tell me, due to what policy?
Well, taxation helps. That's a big part. Okay. Strengthening labor. I think, during Biden, I have a lot of problems with Biden, but
where 6% of the workers work from home. Yeah. So how about
labor? I mean, strengthening labor strength in the marketplace helps with wealth inequality. I think antitrust goes a long way to wealth inequality because it literally is to break up the concentration of wealth.
Here's the other question for you. So Trump's closed up the border, right? Where we are not getting, and like this, numbers have dropped dramatically.
Well, if you go back and look in the, and I don't necessarily agree with Biden doing this, but if you go back and look at the numbers starting in the summer of 2024, maybe a little bit before.
Stop it.
I'm sorry. Just put it up there.
When he started
but listen, I'm not in favor of him doing this, but he did do it. Wait, put up the graph of.
So you mean in an election year? An election year, he tried to slow down the border.
Let me just get through this, and then guys, here's what I'd like to do.
I'm not in favor of it.
I'd like to get through some stories, but I just want to close the knot here and move on because we're not going to make any progress.
See if you can get a
here
graph of that.
Rob, if you just want to show up graph on immigration from 2021, 22, 22, is that the chart you want to see? What do you want to see?
Let's see the one over the past. You said he's dropped it dramatically in January, and I'm suggesting to you if you look at the past 12 months.
Rob, do me a favor, find the chart on immediately when Trump comes in, what happens to illegal immigration in America. While you're doing that, here's a question for you. 10 million illegal immigrants came through the border in 4 years under Biden.
Way more.
You're saying it's more?
What's the number of undocumented immigrants you think we have in this country right now?
What I'm asking is those 4 years. How many do we have during those 4 years?
That came
through, that we have, according to credible sources. What's the number you hear?
That are in the country now, or actually just crossed?
That came through illegally during those 4 years.
Oh, I would imagine it's probably close to like 5, 6, maybe to 10 million.
Let's say 10 million people.
Tom Homan said 10 million.
Let's say it's 10 million. Let's say it's 10 million, but give or take 2 million. Let's just say it's 10 million, the number. Okay, those 10 million people that are coming here, are they rich?
No, the vast majority of them, I would say,
are poor, right? Okay, that they're coming here. Who does that benefit? They're going to need jobs, right? And what are they willing to work for?
Oh, I think they're going to get exploited without a doubt if that's where you're going with this.
Oh, so let me get this straight. So who do they benefit? Do they benefit larger corporations that get cheap labor?
They benefit,
so let me get this straight.
Meat processing plants.
Oh my
and
God!
Whatnot. Oh, that's why I want them to have documents. Let them come to the border. Give them
Yeah. So the solution is to just give everyone who wants to come here citizenship if they just show up, and we'll just let millions and millions of people into the country because guys like Sam Seder want benefits for meat packing plants.
So that they can get worker protections.
So then if that's the case, you know what that validates? Joe Biden and the Democratic policies are better for the billionaires than Trump's are because they brought in cheap labor. And that cheap labor helps who? Helps the rich. When
I am in favor of a path to citizenship that is much easier.
And by the way, those 10 million people that came here illegally, give or take.
And that was in that bill that they suggested in the fall of 2023 that Trump said he didn't want because he wanted to keep it as an issue.
Who do those 10 million people take jobs away from? Who do they take jobs away from?
I don't know that they take jobs away from that many.
Really?
No.
Really?
We are at, in 20 years ago, we were told that the lowest unemployment that it was possible to have with a functioning economy was what? Do you remember? It 2%? Was something like 6 to 8%. And now our unemployment is at 4%. And so
it was lower than that before.
I continue.
You're not answering the question, though. Who do those people take jobs away from?
I have answered it. I think largely they don't take jobs away from people.
Oh, they don't?
Of course they do.
Hang on. Perfect. I love...
The only way they don't take jobs from anybody is if the party that Sam Seder is so committed to, the one that claims that people need $50 an hour or $25 an hour to flip burgers to have a, quote, livable wage, the same party that thinks that nobody should be paid less than what they already get. Minimum wage is a joke. They also believe that these migrant workers and illegals coming over here, that they should be filling the jobs because the jobs pay. Have you seen that meme where it says, like, now you can pick your own fruit for $5 an hour? And it's like, why? So you were defending these companies that were paying people such unlivable wages, that they were paying them such low hourly rates, while you go out and protest to make sure that someone that has 15 felonies on their record and never finished high school gets $35 an hour to flip burgers? I make it make sense, please.
You said you think they don't take jobs away from anybody. Perfect. So if we go and we look at when China started trading, let me make the point, when China came through and was able to bring labor to us, 1971. It was called the ping pong agreement that they had where, we can send labor there. And labor at the time was 8 cents to 20 cents an hour, where for us minimum wage was $1.60. Then in 2001, when the Clinton policies helped China join the World Trade Organization, and at the time, minimum wage in China was 20 cents to 50 cents, depending on different regions, and for us was $5.15. We lost 6 million manufacturing jobs, give or take the next 7 years. Michigan, you got Indiana, you got all these other places. Where did those jobs go to? Who did they replace? Who lost those jobs? What happened to Detroit?
All that manufacturing went to China.
That's right. So what do you think these 10 million people that come here, who are they going to take jobs away from? Americans who are here legally. Those jobs are going to go to somebody that's cheap labor.
That was the movement of capital. Capital decided that it was cheaper for them to move to
I'm specifically
China.
talking about last 4 years. So when you're saying labor is not going to be taken from people in America, that's the credibility you lose. That's where people in 2000... Rob, can you play the clip with Stephen A. Smith, who has been a staunch supporter of the Democratic Party for decades, and now Stephen A. Smith is being called as a member of MAGA. Rob, we can't play the whole thing. Can you go to the main part? Do you know the main part or no?
I do. Right after he reads this is when he responds.
Okay, let's see what he says, Rob. Go for it.
This Owens, Sean Hannity, and other prominent voices from the right on this podcast as reasons for his premise. Here's a portion of what he wrote on MSNBC.com in an article titled ESPN Stephen A. Smith is a megaphone for MAGA propaganda. Jones says, quote, Stephen A. Smith's embrace of the MAGA movement and its influencers has only continued. In recent days, for example, he has spoken with right-wing commentators Ben Shapiro, Megyn Kelly, and Bill O'Reilly.
Biggest sin you can make from the left is even talking to someone that has a different view. No, you can't do that. Instead, you must burn their car down, you must chant outside their house, block the road, try to get them fired from their job, leave 1,000 bad reviews in their business. That's how you handle politics, right?
You might be thinking that these were adversarial chats between a left-leaning centrist and a conservative. But to adroit listeners, they can come across more as conservatives in friendly discussion than anything else. Smith's overt politicism seems to fly in the face of ESPN's apparent effort in recent years to deter some of its talent from speaking on controversial political matters. Either way, the network's most recognizable host is now regularly platforming MAGA propaganda at will, end quote. Now, my team reached out to Jones to have a discussion about the article. I wanted to invite him on the show to talk with me one-on-one personally. I hope we get the opportunity to have that dialogue. He was busy. He didn't avoid the call or anything like that. There was no comment or anything like that. He didn't say anything. He was just very, very busy. We called it the last minute. No shade on him. That's why it didn't happen. But in the meantime, let me express to you what I think about what he wrote. I think that's the exact problem with the left. You see, if I don't agree with you, I must be MAGA. It must be the case. I'm platforming MAGA propaganda. Is that so?
And keep in mind, Stephen A. Smith isn't disagreeing with everything on the left or agreeing with everything on the right. He's made a couple. He shared a couple thoughts about one or two topics, and suddenly now he's a Klansman and he's a white supremacist, and it's the same boring, played out accusations that always come up.
View it that way. First of all, even though I lean left, particularly with how I vote with presidential elections, I want to emphasize that I've always been a centrist my entire life. I've never once described myself as a Democrat or a Republican. I'm a centrist. I'm a moderate. I don't trust either side. I'm not on one side or the other, hook, line, or sinker. You will see images or you'll hear me rattle off names of people who've been on this show. Yes, you see Ben Shapiro there. Yes, you see Bill O'Reilly there. Yes, I was recently on Megyn Kelly's show. Did you know I'm on News Nation with Chris Cuomo every week? Did you know that I just appeared with Jake Tapper on CNN?
They know. It just doesn't matter. Because the only way you can operate successfully on the left is if you toe every single inch of the line. You have to believe every single thing. If they come out one day and they say, we need tampons in the men's restroom, you have to go, good. I've been waiting for someone to finally put those in there. I mean, I don't know why we didn't put it in there 50 years ago. Hell, you have to toe the line.
Do you know I've been on MSNBC on several occasions? Do you know?
You can pause.
Yes, Sean.
So, do you know what happens when a guy like Stephen A. Smith, he said he's always voted left when it comes down to presidential candidates that he has. So he's not a guy that voted for Trump, right? When a guy like him comes out and he says, what the hell is going on with the Democratic Party?
Is that what he's saying there?
Oh, he said it many. You must not follow what he says because he has said that nonstop the last 2 months, 3 months.
No, I don't follow what he says.
You should. He's actually very good. He's reasonable. It would be good for you to watch. I like his approach. I think he's a.
Do you guys identify as MAGA?
No.
Do any of you guys identify as MAGA?
Here's my question. Can I ask a question?
Because he seems to think it's an insult.
Yo, that's what I'm saying. Make America great again. It shouldn't be if you want to make America great again, I'm all in. Call me MAGA all freaking day.
I'm MAGA. I'm MAGA. I'm MAGA.
Stephen A. Smith doesn't think it's an insult. He just knows that he's not 100% a MAGA guy. He's a guy who, like he said himself, generally leans left, but there's a couple issues that he just disagrees with the mainstream left on. That's why he doesn't want to be labeled MAGA, not because MAGA is an insult.
I just want to make America great.
He seems to take it as an insult.
No, I am America first. I'm America first. I voted for Trump in 2016. I voted for him 2020. In 2022, when people were leaving to the DeSantis camp, I stayed on the Trump camp. Yep. I've never been off that camp. He's the right guy for America, and I've been a registered independent now for about 17 years.
What do you think about these tariffs?
No, stay on this topic here with Stephen. We'll go to tariffs next.
We're going to cut the clip off there because Sam Seder, he doesn't want to directly answer anything. He doesn't want to respond to anything. He's just going to keep dodging, and it just goes on and on and on. But good job by Patrick Bet-David. He always does a good job of staying calm. It's kind of like it's worth more when you see him actually get riled up and mad because it's very rare. He's very composed. You can tell that he's built his business empire by having a good head on his shoulders and kind of like presenting himself in a proper way. He's a smart guy. He's a capable guy. And Sam Seder is just kind of one of those guys who can get by building, an online presence, but he can't really make an impact when he's sitting down next to someone who's smart, well-versed in the topic and has good composure. We see that here. But anyways, let me know in the comments what you think. Thanks for tuning in to Murray Max. Give it a like, subscribe, share. If you're one of the many trolls who likes to follow this page, keep posting. I appreciate the engagement, and thanks for tuning in to Murray Max.